Welcome back to the Rob and Dan Show Invitational. We are catching our breath and we are bringing things back for the last game of today's events. Cake versus Ryders. Cake has fought and clawed through the Glowwater Thralls to reach this point. Casting with me today is Imagine. Imagine, did you think we would get anything like that with what just happened today?
You know, Cake always has a penchant, and both Cake and Thralls have a penchant for pulling out some really spectacular matches. So I guess when the two face each other, I shouldn't be surprised. But I don't think anybody could have ever. You can't script this any better. You know, like I wouldn't been able to write something that would have been as good as what we just saw.
I am ridiculously impressed by what these teams have brought to the table here. I let everyone know that this was going to be a major, very tightly run tournament where you would have to bring your A game 100% of the time. I didn't know everyone would step their game up like they have already. I cannot wait for the US brackets, the North American brackets rather, to see what they have available for us. Next week, folks, by the way, the event will be right after the Aerodrome. Be ready for that. It's the North American brackets. The first game of the matchup is Sacrilege versus the Praetorians. I'm sorry, not Sacrilege, but Sacrilege had to drop out at the last minute on us. I spoke directly with Tropo. It's regrettable why he had to do that, but it's understandable. I wish Sacrilege could have participated. Instead, though, we're actually getting a team that has made a lot of waves lately, the Starbards. Combination of, I don't know who, and the Bards. I forget. It's a really long, complicated name. So, it's easy to recognize them. One has a little musical note as their guild tag, and one has a little star as their clan tag.
Yep. I've seen both of them around in game, definitely.
Everyone should recognize these folks. But point being, we do have Ryders versus Cake starting up right now. First map is Battle on the Dunes. Both these teams have sordid histories with this map. It is the oldest map, right? Imagine.
Yeah, I think so. It's been around since basically beta. I mean, I think there's a couple of maps that are as old, but yeah, I mean, it's an original map.
An original map, very open. The Ryders known for using mobulas, long-range mobulas on this map to great effect, in fact, dominating a couple Ducks teams during Hephaestus Challenge, if I remember correctly.
This was the infamous Cake Runaway game.
This was also, I was about to bring that up, the infamous Cake Runaway game where they won a 2-1 versus Sacrilege in the Hephaestus Challenge. And actually, that's the first game that really kind of got folks' attention and shouted that, you know, Cake is actually starting to bring a game to this now. They're starting to really compete. The second map in this matchup will be Parrot and Rumble. And if we go to a third, the third will be Canyon Ambush. Third will need to be Canyon Ambush.
I would love to see a Canyon Ambush game between these two. Canyon Ambush is probably my favorite map. Probably one of the most balanced maps as well. So I would love to see a match on that. But we'll see if we can get there.
We'll see. We'll certainly see. I was actually hoping against Canyon Ambush personally, but I cannot ignore the map rolls. There is an invisible wall issue still in Canyon Ambush. I'm not sure if it's been fixed yet. Did they fix that in a patch the last few days?
I think the first hot fix, they said that they fixed it.
Okay.
Because there was the patch, then there was the first hot fix. I thought it was fixed in that first hot fix, and there was a second hot fix. So I think they fixed it in that first hot fix, but we'll see. I haven't actually had the pleasure of playing on it because for some reason I've been in a bunch of 3v3s and 4v4s instead. So not a whole lot of Canyon Ambush going on in those.
Sorry, just responding to some of the teams for a moment. I am looking forward to seeing what Parrot and Rumble has to offer for us. Battle on the Dunes, you don't see too terribly often. At least not anymore because of all the different maps in the rotation.
I will let you know right now, I'm not the biggest fan of this map. Never have been.
It wouldn't be because of all the sniping matches you've had to experience on it, is it?
It's not just casting them, but playing them as well. It tends to get a little dull. There's a few places where you can make things happen on this map. Of course, there's some debris that you can definitely hide in. You see people hide in the ribs all the time, or circle around the wreckage around there. There's a couple of like engine columns that you can hide behind. But you weren't around for the 2-hour plus matches that we've had to cast before. But yeah, that was a thing.
Well, thank goodness we're not going to have to deal with that today. Games are going to go a little long here, unfortunately, and cut into our aerodrome time. Hopefully, it won't take up too much of that.
Yep.
Hopefully.
Yeah, we can only hope.
I think it's well worth it. Unfortunately, we are having some issues with the Cake players right now.
Well, I'll give them a few seconds. They provided some great set of games, so
I think we all need a moment to breathe.
Calm down. Gio said he was going to have to take up smoking after that last match. So.
I don't know.
Don't smoke, kids. That's our public service announcement.
That would be bad. Yeah. That would be bad. Losi's bringing in the libGTK for this one. Hades Flak. Looks at things. Fancy Dimensio's
we got
traditional Mobula.
Yeah, Pyro Mob on both sides, it looks like.
Mm-hmm. Now, here's the thing. The Cake folks are also bringing a Mobula, but it's not a traditional Mobula, at least for mid and long range engagements. It has 2 Banshees on it. It has 2 Banshees on it, for crap's sake.
Yeah, the only thing is the farther you are with Banshee, the less effective it's going to be. I mean, you can always, I guess, heavy clip it, but you're going to...
I believe they're bringing heavy clip. We'll see that once we get in game. Yep. And once we get our camera loaded, there we go. Go ahead with the Ryders team. Imagine.
All right, we got on the Ryders side, we got the Fancy Captain by Dimentio. He's got on the lower deck Carronade and a flamethrower on the upper deck wings. He's got Artemis and up very top he's got a Hades. And on the libGTK by Lois's ship, we've got Hades light flak up front with a Banshee and a flare gun on the side.
As combat begins here, Cake's Fluffy Toffee, piloted by QFoxP. It's a Mobula, Merc top, Carronade, and Flare on the sides and bottom deck. Double Banshee armor is down on that ship. They are getting ripped apart.
Going down immediately.
Ooh, Dental Academy trying to get in there. Second of the Cake ships. Dental Academy doing a job on libGTK, but they are getting hammered. It is a Pyramidion with Carronade and Gatling with Banshee and Flare on it. Piloted by Mellum Crabernathy. They are getting hammered, trying to load damage into libGTK as fast as possible. Engines are down on that ship. They burned a little too much moonshine there. Fancy, though, getting flamethrower all over the Dental Academy. Yep, they are not looking so good.
It's going to go down right here. And then this is just straight up aggression here by Ryders. And you know what? This actually reminds me a lot of some Duck teams where they wouldn't wait. They just we're going right for you immediately. You don't get time to set up. You don't get time to go, okay, well, how are we going to play this? Because their team is right up in your face immediately. And it looks like they're just going to continue doing this. And now Fluffy Toffee's going to have to keep on backing up here and hope that his teammate can respond in time. Will do so, but he's getting slammed here again.
Mm-hmm. Fluffy Toffee is very much low on armor right now, trying to get that back up. Dental Academy spawned back in and moving in on the Fancy. Gatling shots are connecting. Heavy Clip is loaded in. They are starting to take some damage, though. Not what the Dental Academy wanted to deal with in this situation. I think they were hoping the charge scare them off a bit more. Armor is down. Hull is taking damage there. They are getting ripped to shreds.
Yep, and once again, shots coming in from the libGTK, taking him out. And looks like Fluffy Toffee's trying to follow up the Fancy, trying to go below the libGTK, but that's leaving their hull completely exposed to that Hades fire. And I mean, Ryders have just taken it to him. Oh, that's a head-on collision between two Mobulas.
Mobula Ram taking out some of Fancy's hull there. It's now 4-0 in favor of the Ryders. Not the start I expected after the last few games. Cake has not had a solid base to work off of against this heavy Ryder firepower.
Yeah, absolutely. Now they have done a fair amount of damage to both of these ships, so it's it's definitely nothing not over yet. They're spawning far away. I expect both those ships to basically spawn in the same area. That's Fluffy Toffee, so the Cake team will get a little bit of chance to catch their breath for a moment. Calm down those jitters. I know you just had a great set of matches, but you are in your next one now, so you're definitely gonna have to work on this a little bit here, as you've got a 4-0 deficit.
Tough situation to be in, but Cake does have full perma hulls they get to work with, whereas the Fancy and Lib GTK about 3/4 and half, respectively.
Yep, and Ryders, if they wanted, they could definitely take this a little bit, a little bit late. They could
really
set up whatever they want
in this situation.
I don't think they want to play keep away, but they don't have to necessarily charge forward. They don't have to get that fifth kill right now.
Lib GTK drawing the Cake ships out.
Oh, and Fluffy Toffee armor is already down. He actually slammed into the ground a little bit there, and Fluffy Toffee's just getting torn apart here. Ryders doing once again a magnificent job of focus firing.
Ryders showing they are on the absolute best game they can be. That accurate firepower dropping on top of the Fluffy Toffee is doing a world of hurt. Armor is gone again. Hull shots not incoming.
Yep.
Hull untouched there.
Fluffy Toffee going against Fancy here now, as Dental Academy is poking the Lib GTK away, but Fluffy Toffee with that armor already so low, and permanent also low, on fire all over the place. Lib GTK is actually still trying to shoot at the Fluffy Toffee, even though it's got
Dental Academy keeps trying to uppercut him. Yep. They were trying to uppercut them, but the Fancy appears to be getting...
now it's lit up fire, and Balloon is down on the Fluffy Toffee, and they've just been going right for this Mobula time after time, and Fluffy Toffee is going to not hit the ground, but everything is on fire on that ship, basically.
Everything is on fire. They just need to give Dental Academy time to work. Lib GTK is at an immense disadvantage right now. They could go down here to the Dental Academy.
But Fluffy Toffee gets taken out by the Fancy. Before any of that happens, Mobula is so fragile, and just the three of the kills, I think either 3 or 4 of the kills were on that Mobula.
Yep. The Fancy is a very dangerous ship. Very dangerous. They fly together so often. I like the fact that Cake brought those Banshees to this fight, but it didn't work. I feel it just did not have the firepower to deal with both the Fancy and the Lib GTK. I think Artemis it functions better in these situations. We're moving on to the next matchup here, Parrot and Rumble. We do have it on the lobby list here that we can pick from. Right now, Cake is down 1-0. They must get a win here, or they're going to get knocked out of the tournament. Ryders here looking to set up as the winners today.
Yeah, and I mean, you're going to have to handle this Ryder aggression. Guys, load in, get on your stations, because the Ryders are coming for you. I mean, it's very reminiscent of the kind of the duck style of right up in your face. The wolf pack kind of use that as well. Of, hey, we're here and we're coming for you. We got our foot on the pedal and we ain't stopping. Now I will say that it could just very well have been a map thing. Maybe Cake doesn't feel very comfortable on the Battle in the Dunes or something like that. I know it's a very different map than what they faced against, so we'll see what they can do on Parrot and Rumble instead.
I'm very excited to see what happens on Parrot and Rumble. Last matchup, Parrot and Rumble was ridiculously exciting. Now, I'm not sure I can handle another one of those, but I would like something with a lot of oomph behind it, personally.
Yep. It'd be great to see a Game 3 happen. We'll see if the Cake team manages to pull this back after such a fantastic first set.
We'll be looking at Lucy bringing out the Lib ATK again, and Dimencio bringing out the Deicide, his Galleon as well. They're not actually going to go double Galleon on this, are they?
They very well could. I mean, Lumberjacks on this map are brutal. And,
they are.
And we saw earlier today that Lib ATK just hit every single shot.
Mm-hmm.
I think Dementrio, I don't know. I'm gonna guess Gio's pretty good on it as well. So it's gonna be rough if they can hit it. That's what it is with Lumberjacks every time, though, right? Like if you hit with a Lumberjack, you can actually go at it without any problems.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So we'll see. And they do have a game to play with, so maybe they think they can pull it out with this. And if they don't, well, whatever. We got a third game still.
Timer has started for the lobby. It looks like Ryders are trying to sort out their last slot for this. It does appear they're going to be going with double Galleon in this situation. That is a lot of tanking power they're bringing, but it also brings the opportunity to get caught and trapped in some of these canyons and tight corridors. Dental Academy and Darwin's Eulogy still the ships for the cake side of things. Darwin's Eulogy bringing an Art Merc to this fight, along with the
look, heavy guns, double heavy gunship.
Mm-hmm. This, by the way, this strategy, folks, did not work with the Mad Hatters against the Ryders. So we'll see if this can go a little better for Cake against this very experienced Ryder team.
Yeah, I mean, it's a kind of a different situation. Definitely different map, not as wide open. And I believe it was the Fancy on Fjords that was breathing down those Pyramidian necks the entire time.
For the most part, yes.
In this case, those 2 gallons are probably going to be flying right beside each other. It's not going to be doing a whole lot of flanking maneuvering with those galleons. Most likely. I'm not saying that they can't try it, but, most likely not going to happen.
Alrighty, folks, loading up here. Go ahead and take care of the Ryders, please. Imagine.
All right. On the Deicide side, that is Dementio's Galleon. And we've got on one side double Carronade. And on the long side, we've got Lumberjack Watcha with an assisting Hades and a harpoon in the back. And on the Lib ATK, that is, of course, Lewis's ship. On their short side, they've got Carronade Watcha. On their long side, they've got Lumberjack Heavy Flak with an assisting Hades and a flare gun on the back.
On the Cake side of things, Darwin's Eulogy, Fox's Pyramidian, Artemis Merc on the front with a flak on the side and a Banshee. And we have the Dental Academy, piloted by Melon McCrabernathy, Artemis Gatling on the front with Banshee and Flare on the sides where support spots are already down. Now, a quick note before we get into any major engagements here. We have seen double Galleon before. The Ducks actually practiced with it quite a bit before the Hephaestus Challenge got underway. Last springtime, we actually had the chance to cast quite a few of those matches against Overwatch. The key to a solid double Galleon build at least always seemed to be making sure support fire was an option. As long as each Galleon was supporting each other, nothing could really take them down. The trick was making sure support fire couldn't be achieved. So either knocking one of the Galleons out of the air or getting disables on them. And you all of a sudden have a completely different ball game where these ships, although they have the heavy firepower, it's not always self-sustaining.
Yeah, absolutely. And they've definitely got the potential to knock out heavy gun after heavy gun. And, look, what are you going to do with a Galleon if you don't have your guns? But it will also take a very long time for these 2 cake ships to basically get any sort of kills. So, they're really going to have to be spot on with those disables because otherwise they're going to have a hard time doing anything. This will be quite tense in a completely different manner than the tense that we saw with Thrall versus Cake.
It's going to be interesting because you have a double-edged sword with taking Galleons on Parrot and Rumble. One, you have the fact that they're big. They're big, they're clunky, and it can be very hard to maneuver them in certain situations, which means all of a sudden you can get caught in buildings, get strung out or stuck, or worse yet, we have the ancient Velcro that was sometimes slapped upon buildings on the sides to protect it from weathering. It's still there in very certain situations and places, which you don't want to get stuck with that ever. On the opposite side of the coin, though,
Yep.
galleons can absorb a lot of damage.
Yep.
It's easy to tank with them.
And especially if you don't, on this map, especially if you don't have balloon popping potential, it's going to be hard to really get galleons stuck into those positions where they're actually getting, velcroed into, I don't know, bridge or building or something like that.
Yep. Great flank from the Dental Academy coming in from the side/behind the Deicide and the Lib ATK. Artemis shots already going down. Looks like, though, they're not being too terribly aggressive in this situation. Replaceable getting a few engine breaks on them.
Now, this is an interesting approach here by Cake, I will say, because they are getting split up, but that means it's not going to allow the two rider ships here to be focused in the same general area. So they're going to have to make up their mind where they want to be looking.
Lib ATK armor is down. They are starting to take some hull damage there. Oh my goodness, the pressure here is incredible coming in from Cake. Ryder needs to right themselves and reorganize themselves to get some suppression on these Cake ships before they lose much more hull on the Lib ATK.
Yep, that armor was down once more. That armor is going to do a lot of ping-ponging like that because of the Merc. Yep. It's going to matter, whether or not they can get the great gobs of damage in to actually kill off one of these galleons, however. And as we saw, that armor was down for a long time, and not a whole lot of permanent hull damage was actually done.
Oh, goodness. Lib ATK trying to deal with this. Dental Academy being forced backwards after hull started taking some taps, and the balloon is still down.
Yep, that's going to do a little ping-ponging action as well, as you've got that Lumberjack coming on in. But Dental Academy doing a decent job here of avoiding shots. Lib ATK armor down once more. Takes a few more damage.
Ryders are doing a much better job of getting fire on a target, though, in these situations. I think Lib ATK, though,
start dragging on the ground in a moment here.
Yeah, not good. I think
that was huge bounce.
They got to be careful. Dental Academy going down.
Yeah, that I do not understand that charge at all. I guess they were like, okay, well, let's go after the Deicide because it's split off. But why would you do that? You're so close to the ground with Lumberjacks on you.
I do not know. I think it was a very dangerous move. I think Cake was in a good position there to continue putting fire on the Lib ATK. They started making changes when the Lib ATK started shifting towards where the Dental Academy was at. I think they should have just gave ground, stayed calm, and kept picking away at the galleons.
Yeah, there's no real reason to charge in there at all, especially when you know you've gotten some permanent damage on the Lib ATK, and it's the only ship you've gotten permanent damage in. You cannot... Splitting up to the Deicide was not the right call there, even though Darwin's eulogy was closer to him. It really doesn't matter. You should have just kept on Lib ATK. You should have gotten your balloon back up. Hit around for a little bit. This is going to be an attrition fight for Cake, not the slugfest.
Certainly not the brawls that we've been seeing the last few games. Dental Academy taking a full Watcher burst there. Good job dodging shots, though. As long as they don't hit this building they're backing up near. They are absorbing a lot of fire. They're going to have to be very careful in this situation. Lib ATK has them zeroed. They do bump.
The balloon went down for a moment there, I think. No, they were just actually just descending.
They descended just a little bit, yeah. Yep. Deicide getting a very solid flank on the Dental Academy in this situation. Dental Academy going to be very close to this long-range side.
Yep, they do get a nice set of Gatling shots in, but just not going to be able to accomplish too much with it as the two Galleons are repositioning themselves here.
The Darwin's eulogy right next to the Dental Academy. The Cake ships need to do something very quickly here to start breaking these galleons down.
I really liked their approach previously. Get one of these ships behind where the galleons were. It actually did a great job disabling the engines of the galleon as well. So it was really stuck without guns and without engines. And that's what allowed them to do that much damage to Lib ATK. But now I think, Ryders recognize that. They don't want that to happen again. And they've repositioned themselves into an area which is a lot more defensible because there's not a lot of avenues of attack here anymore.
That's a very good point. Because the Cake team does not having the balloon popping, as the Dental Academy eats fire. Shot after shot after shot. Armor is down. Hull is exposed. They're taking a little bit of hull damage.
Just misses.
Nope, not quite.
Armor or balloon is down, so armor gets hurt a little bit more as they bump into this ground. Darwin's Eulogy is getting some shots off onto Lib ATK here.
The Cake folks need to not panic in this situation. But anyway, as we were saying there, because the Cake team really doesn't have any balloon popping potential on their ships, they really need to focus on disabling the engine column. Although the Galleon is one of the faster ships in the game, it takes a long time for it to get up to speed. Its acceleration and turning are terrible.
Low ship. I think I would have loved to have seen a lumberfish here from Cake side.
Oh, yes. Oh, absolutely. A lumberfish, I think, would be very successful in this situation, just continually popping those big, easy-to-hit galleon balloons. Did not see the Lib ATK
taking large amounts of, or, well, not large, quotation marks, as they do get their armor back up. And that's just the problem. There's no burst damage once the hull goes down, or the armor goes down. Dental Academy armor is down here. Balloon was down. They've got to get both of them repaired. Balloon down once again. They're going to start dragging on the ground once more. And they might actually just end up, they'll
be fine.
Back up in time.
They'll be fine. Just gently slide out of arc. Lib ATK, a gun is down on that ship. Deicide is absorbing a lot of fire from the Darwin's Eulogy, but their balloon is down. Not the best situation for them. They
blue
bounce.
Ships collide here. Now Darwin's Eulogy is getting slammed into the building by his own teammate.
Not what Cake wants at all. The hull on that ship is starting to collapse.
Hull is down. They're getting absolutely just smashed here. Darwin's Eulogy might just be able to get themselves repaired on up, but just barely.
Trapped in this ravine is not where the Cake team wants to be at all. Overtime has started. It's still just 1-0 in favor of the Ryders. If Ryders hold out and keep the pressure off their ships, they will win this based off a timeout win.
Yep. I mean, I'm sure that's not what they're going for, but the fact that that they're in a position, they're in a highly defensible position with these two galleons. They're gonna move a little bit further over. Once those two pirates get close, we're just gonna move somewhere else. And the two pirates have been licking their wounds the entire time, and very, very much trepidation for the Cake team to actually come on board.
It's a lot of risk engaging these galleons. The Dental Academy trying to follow in behind. Early Artemis shots, though, alert the Ryders team to the positioning of the Cake ships. Deicide is turning and engaging the Dental Academy in the situation. Darwin's Eulogy appears to be engaging from the front tip of the Lib ATK. Dental Academy is taking a lot of shots here. Balloon is down. Armor is hurting.
And now Lib ATK is getting shots on him off as well, but Lib ATK is getting hit on the side here by Darwin's Eulogy, and once again, they've got this shots on from the bad angle that you don't want galleons to be shooting from. Lib ATK armor down. Will they go down finally? Yes, they do!
They do!
Yes, they do. And so now if they can take advantage of this in the next few minutes and take Deicide down, they might be able to pull out the tie here.
The respawn on the Dentist Academy is going to be a big part of what happens here. If a good spawn happens from the Dental Academy and we don't see the Lib ATK in close to the Deicide, it could spell trouble for the Ryder team. Dental Academy spawns in, but he's a good clip away up in the far north spawn.
And Lib
oh, dear God.
Right on his teammate.
Yep. I do believe, Darwin's Eulogy reasonably, safely backing off, making the safe play in this situation, saying, you know what, 2 galleons, it's too much firepower for me. That's reasonable.
Yeah, I mean, it's really a unfortunate thing. You know, if they had a gap mortar there, they could have actually just rushed in on the deicide most likely
Probably,
and taken
yes.
them down. But there's a lot of things you could have done differently, of course.
LibATK and deicide both holding in close formation. A timeout win is more than likely in this situation. More than likely. It is 2-1 in favor of the Ryders. Lucas, if you could let us all know in chat how much overtime is left, I'd appreciate it. And we will move forward from there. Dental Academy and Darwin's Eulogy both just sitting back. Not really doing too terribly much beyond playing it safe.
Yep, hopefully they'd know that it's 2-1, not 1-1.
You'd think they'd notice that.
Yep, definitely. Stay aside, LibATK flying around the side here.
There are 6 minutes and 30 seconds left in the overtime pool. This is the second game of the matchup. If Ryders win this, they will move on as the European champs to face the champions of the North American bracket in the final week.
Yep, and unfortunately, Cake's kind of going in the wrong direction. They're looking around in the spawn of the Ryders. Ryders have moved all the way across into the other corner of the map here, though. And just to be clear, I do not think that the Ryders are playing a keep away.
Well, if it would be reasonable if they are. I mean,
yeah, but I don't think that's the point here. They just wanted to get to a better location. They didn't want to, let the Cake team know exactly where they were. It's definitely partially time based, but partially also they've been doing this the entire game. They've been moving around with this galleon, setting up in a position, shooting down, setting up in another position, shooting down. They've been basically had the Cake team trying to chase them around, and you don't really want to be in that position where you're having to charge in onto galleons.
It's tough to flank an opponent that is in motion.
Very much so.
It can be very tough. But at the same time, it's very difficult to charge an emplaced galleon when you don't have time for it to just sit there while it's set up and get a flank on it. So this is probably one of the best galleon strategies I've actually seen in a very long time, where it's that continuous slow motion that gives them the opportunity to set up where they need to in multiple different spots that are positive for them in many different ways.
Absolutely. And then, of course, in the end, also incredibly good shooting will definitely help you as well. Now, deicide has been found, and so we got about 5 minutes here for the Cake team to make something happen. They got to get that second kill at the very least. Now, Dan, what does happen if there's a tie?
If it's tie, we go to game 3.
Okay, we'll go to game 3. Gotcha.
We go to game 3. And even if game 3 is a tie because Ryders won the first game, they win.
Gotcha. Yep.
Cake team has to get a win. Has to get a win.
Well, in game 3 at that point.
At least.
Yeah, they can just tie it up here if they want.
LibATK and deicide both holding in the far northwest corner, having just shifted there.
I mean, Cake should generally know where they are, and I almost feel like there's like a lack of urgency from Cake going on here. They should be getting closer to they have to know that the galleons are moving around. So they should be able to figure out just by a general pattern of where they've been moving to.
More than likely, it's been a consistent counterclockwise circle around the map.
Yeah, you can sort of determine from positions that they were moving, the angles that they were going to. There we go. We got some shots going on to deicide here.
Relatively accurate considering the distance that we're talking about and the fact there isn't a spot going on.
Yeah, and I mean, look, there's 3 minutes left. The Cake team has to hurry. They have to get up in here like right now. It's gonna take a long time for them to take down one of these galleons, as we've noted before. There we
Dental
go.
Academy
Dental Academy
is getting a
right in their
flank
face.
here on the Dia side. Watch the shots going out. We have one disable. Lib ATK though unleashing.
Is so far away. They've gotten caught up in the terrain here. They've gotten caught up in the buildings. They're not able to get across. Dental Academy armor is down, and that will spell the end of Cake. I do not think they can get 2 kills in the next 2.5 minutes or so. And
Galleon simply tanks too well. Galleon simply tanks so well, especially when you're going up against a disable build like this. It does not work. Does not work.
Darwin's Eulogy just got caught around buildings, was not able to follow his teammate behind. Maybe if they would have been able to do this nice coordinated attack, they would have taken down some of Deicide's guns really quickly or something. But that's just the way that this is going to end, unfortunately. Probably with a 3-1, maybe even a 4-1 if Darwin's pushes out too far here, which it looks like he will.
Oh, they're going to run right into those guns.
Yeah, very little health left. Maybe get some disables here. It actually does get a decent amount of disable.
That Banshee on the front of the Darwin's Eulogy is really doing some heavy lifting there. I'm pretty impressed, actually.
Dental Academy trying to get in here. Watch the shots going on to Darwin's Eulogy. That balloon's down. Dental Academy still trying to make something happen. They do get the armor down of the Lib ATK and are getting some permanent damage in here, but can they do this? You know what, Dan? If they actually manage to somehow kill these 2 ships in like the next minute,
it has to be in the next minute. I'll quit. I'll be done.
I don't even know what's going on. Oh my god, the Dental Academy should have been bumping. They should have been doing those tiny little pokes here. Lib ATK is actually not doing well, but yeah, there's just too much tankiness.
That's the kind of aggression that we needed to see all game, though, from the Dental Academy with this build, especially. Look what they're doing against the Lib ATK.
Yeah, they may just be able to take him down, but I think we're about to just run out of time here. Not enough damage coming in, and once again, Darwin's Eulogy just not way too far away. They are gonna take the Lib ATK down here. Maybe they do, so it's 3-2, but they got like 20 seconds maybe to take down the Deicide, who's now
Dental Academy is getting ripped apart.
Yep.
Flex shot, lumberjack shots landing on the Dental Academy. Great
nice little try here at the end by Cake, but just not enough. Too little, too late.
There. That is a timeout win 4-2 for the Ryders. Cake making a valiant effort of it, especially in those 3 games against Glowwater Thralls. They were ridiculously intense. Ridiculously intense.
Little end of game festivities going on. Here's the Deicide and the Darwin's Eulogy.
They're having fun at this point. It was a very high stress matchup, but I believe that was part of the good side of these engagements. Next week, folks, we're going to have the American side, the North American side of the R&D Invitational. The first matchup, as I pull my brackets up, will be the Starbards versus the Praetorians. It says Sacrilege right now, but we need to change out that information here as soon as we have that confirmation from the teams. Storm Riders get a 2-0 match win against Cake and move forward as the European champs to face whoever wins the North American bracket.
And if it's any indication, they're going to be a tough team.
Things are going to get just a little crazy. A little crazier than they've already gotten. Oh, folks, thank you so much for joining us here today. Imagine, thank you so much for stepping in and assisting with the casting.
It was fun to be here as always.
Twitch.tv/Imagine42 is the place where you folks can find him. Thank you to Lucas for being our referee and operator in game today. Thank you to Rob for all of the different tech, logos, designs, and whatnot. Art assets were made by Robert Shepard and Tatiana Fanol. for this event. Music and voice work was done by Psychonaut, as well as the always talented and magnificent Pharaxis. Teams today were the Glowwater Thralls, the Mad Hatters, Cake, and our winners for today, the Ryders. Thank you so much for everyone who participated in today's events. Once again, in just a few minutes here, we're going to have the Aerodrome week 2 for you right here on twitch.tv/The Rob and Dan Show.
Once a year, the strongest, fastest, and wisest are brought together to destroy each other.